Lesson 12.5 talks about circles in the coordinate plane. So what do we got to be able to do? We need to be able to write the equation of a circle given the center and the radius. We need to be able to find the center and the radius of a circle given an equation. All right? So the first thing is we want to figure out what is this thing that is called the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle requires you to know the center, which they're going to call HK, and the radius, which they're going to call R, and be able to substitute them into this formula, if you will. All right? So the way that I remember it is simply this. H goes with X, K goes with Y. I'm going to subtract them both inside. All right? This is known as standard form of a circle. Standard form of the equation of a circle. So let's take a look at some of these. All right? In this first one, they tell me the center, they tell me the radius. So I'm going to take x minus 2 squared plus y minus negative 8, which would make it y plus 8 squared. And that's equal to r squared. R is 9, so 9 squared will be 81. Done. That's all we have to be able to do to write the equation of a circle. It is this simple. All right? So let's try the next one. The center's at negative 6, 3. So I know x minus negative 6, which would be x plus 6 squared, plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 8 squared, and 8 squared is 64. Done. All right? How about this one? I have x minus negative 9, which would be x plus 9 squared, plus y minus negative 4, which would be y plus 4 squared, equals the square root of 5 squared. Now remember, the square root of 5, when you square a square root, they cancel each other out. So this would just be 5. All right? The last one here, we've got x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 4 squared, which would be 16. Now, you will rarely see an equation of a circle whose center is at 0, 0 written like this. Instead, they would write this as x squared plus y squared equals 16. So notice when you see x squared plus y squared, realize that they're saying x minus 0 and y minus 0. Okay? Pretty simple here. All right? So what if they reverse it on us now? What if they give us the equation? So the way that I remember this, to find the center and the radius. To find the center, I know it's going to be a subtraction has to occur between the numbers. So x plus 7 is really saying x minus negative 7. So I know that my center is at negative 7 and y minus 5, so the center is at negative 7, 5. I know to find the radius, I have to take the square root of 16, which would be a radius of 4. All right, let's take a look at this second one here. To find the center, I have to kind of undo the formula here. So x plus 4 tells me I have a negative 4. Y minus 1 tells me I have a positive 1. And then to find the radius, I'm going to take the square root of 25, which is 5. All right, let's look at this last one. I have x squared plus y squared equals 36. So I know that the center is going to be at 0, 0. All right, the radius would be the square root of 36, or 6. Done. Now, the last thing that we have to be able to do is we have to be able to write the equation of a circle given the center and the point that it passes through. All right. So if it passes through a point, that means that we need to figure out the distance that it is from the center to that point that it's passing through. To figure out distance, we use the distance formula. So recall what the distance formula is. I know it's going to be the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Or the way that we learned it was Subtract the x's, square it. Subtract the y, square it. Add, and take the square root. All right? So the first thing I want to do here, I know that the equation is going to start off looking like this. X minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared. But the problem is I need to know this distance from 1, 2 to 0, 6, which we're going to call the radius. I know that the radius can be found by taking the square root of 1 minus 0 squared plus 2 minus 6 squared. Well, that would give me the square root of 1 squared, which is 1, plus negative 4 squared. Negative 4 squared would be 16. So I have a radius of the square root of 17. Now I'm going to plug the radius into the formula by squaring it. 17. And this is the equation of that specific center and point circle. All right? So let's go to the second example here. I have a center at negative 10, negative 5. That tells me x plus 10 squared plus y minus negative, so y plus 5 squared equals some radius squared. Now I got to go find the radius by using the distance formula. So I know the radius is going to be the square root of negative 10 plus 5 squared. Negative 10 minus negative 5, we're subtracting the x's, plus negative 5, the y, minus 5 squared. So let's see what this is. Square root of negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5 squared is 25. Plus negative 10 minus, negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10 squared is 100. So this tells me that the radius is the square root of 125. Square that to put it into the equation, and I know that this is 125. All right, so let's take a look at one more like this. I know that the center tells me x minus negative 1, so it'd be x plus 1 squared, plus y minus negative 4, or y plus 4 squared, equals some radius squared. I got to go find the radius using the distance formula. The radius is equal to the square root of negative 1 plus 4 squared plus negative 4 minus 0 squared. So I know that the radius is going to be negative 1 plus 4 is 3 squared, or 9, plus negative 4 minus 0 is negative 4 squared, would be positive 16, where the radius is the square root of 25. Now, the square root of 25, I could calculate, but remember, what do we got to do with that? We got to plug it in and square it. So let's just square the square root of 25, and you get 25. So again, just to elaborate on that, I know that this tells me the radius is 5, and then when I plug it in and square it, that's where the 25 comes from. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. The next step for you would be to take the test. Good luck with that. Make sure you don't take it until you're ready for it. All right?